You know, since we do live in this society, I think it would be nice to mention fictional characters, whether they're from movies, cartoons, comic books, that we've all seen, who we've grown up in, that we've looked to for inspiration. So I'm going to start with this. Hussein, who is the one character out of everyone who you've seen, who you look up to the most? Well, not even look up to the most.
Character.
The one character who comes to your mind.
That's going to be a tough one,
Wow.
because there's a lot of characters out there.
I have a few that
You can talk
really
about a few.
inspired me as a kid. We can talk about a few, but I think the main one that really affected my life, I mean, let me just give a backdrop to him and why he affected my life so much.
Go for it, bro.
This is funny. So, as a child, I was a very shy young man. I was really shy. I was very chubby, and I didn't have much confidence in myself. I didn't know how to act.
I saw your pictures. You looked cute, man.
And, they used to call me Noddy in the class. I had really red cheeks, and the thing is, I was raised in a lovely family, and my mother always took care of me, and it was all kindness. So when I went to secondary school, I saw people weren't that kind, and a lot of the time, people like me were picked on because they always, like, I just saw the goodness in people. I didn't know people try to take your money or try to hurt you, but
it's a good type of naivety.
yeah, but that's what happened to me. I felt like my innocence was really ripped away from me, because
I know exactly how that feels.
I was 12, 13. I have really so many bad memories of this, and I grew up in Tottenham, so it was
I'm a Brixton boy, so you know.
Yeah, you're Brixton, I'm Tottenham, so and like Tottenham is home to me. I was born in Tottenham, all my life in Tottenham, but I wasn't really exposed to Tottenham until I was about 12, 13, when I started going to school on my own, and then in school I would be like made fun of for being shy, not knowing how to speak to the opposite gender. I would be really like upset if I failed at anything. If I forgot like my pen, I would feel nervous, and I was that kind of kid, you know. So people who know me now would be very surprised to know that I was that kid who was really the kid with the lowest confidence in himself. And the character that really inspired me at that time in my life, when really I was going through an identity crisis as a young boy.
Sure.
I didn't know like how to get out of that situation, and I didn't know how to speak to my parents about it, because to speak to my father and make him feel like I felt like ashamed in a way. So I kind of just took it in and acted like everything was okay at home, but at school everything wasn't okay.
Wow.
And so a fictional character actually really helped me through all of that, and that was Rocky Balboa. So
wow,
yeah,
I was not expecting that.
So
I was thinking Batman.
I was thinking another
big guy Batman. Wasn't not Batman. I do like Batman, but
who doesn't like
no
Batman?
Rocky. Till now, fans. I really like watching Rocky now. I watch it every few months. I watch Rocky again, and it still gives me the same feeling, because I identify so much with it as a child, as that, you know, the bum, and that's what he would be called, and you know, he was just a nobody.
So do you feel like you get the eye of the tiger when you watch him?
The eye of the tiger.
Is that what you listen to when you're at the gym and you're like?
It's the determination that he had, and that willpower to take himself out of that hole that he was put in, and everyone was against. You know, he was against the odds. But he had that sincerity as well, and he was kind of naive too, and innocent. As I was as a child, I was sincere and innocent and naive, and he was like that at 31 years old. And when he was fighting against Apollo Creed, who was the world champion, who was basically Muhammad Ali in the movie, that's what they were trying to show. And this guy is just a guy from Philadelphia that fights in the underground, right? No one expects this to go past one round. It's an exhibition match. And then the night before, he walks into the stadium and he just looks around, and they have a big picture of Rocky with different color shorts, and so he says, "Yo," and he just sat down at home, and he said, "I just want to go the distance, as in I just want to go the 15 rounds. No one's ever gone 15 rounds before." It wasn't about winning. It was about him against himself.
Proving himself, yeah.
It was him against himself, not him against Apollo. So 15 rounds happens, and it's a very close fight. It finishes, and he just calls his wife. He doesn't care. They're announcing the winner, and Apollo's waiting and he's nervous because he's never lost before. But Rocky's just calling his wife. He's not even listening to who won the battle. And then he just says, I love you, and they hug, and the film ends. So it wasn't about winning. It was about you and yourself. So I remember I would watch that, and then I would dress up in a similar jacket to him, and I would go outside in the cold as a 13, and I would jog right around the block, and I'll think like, I'm gonna train, and I'll come home.
Did you ever used to run upstairs and then
I till now, like, I want to visit Philadelphia because I want to run up those stairs.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should. I mean,
because it means a lot to me.
I
like,
know
personally.
it does.
Like, I don't usually
clearly we can see that.
I don't share a lot of my personal life.
No, that's deep, man. I wasn't really expecting Rocky.
Yeah,
you know.
My dad reminds you of him a lot as well. Like my dad, I always look at my dad from the back, and he wears the same hat, and he has the same kind of back, and he always leaves home at like 3 a.m. to go to work.
Does he say,
like,
yo?
This guy's, yo. I can do a really good Rocky impression.
You started it off.
Go for it.
Kill it.
When he goes to take Adrian, his wife, he wants to take her to ice skating, and he's like, yo, you want to go ice skating? and she says, it's Thanksgiving. And he goes, what?
He does Adrian as well.
Yeah. He says, what? She goes, it's Thanksgiving. And he says, yeah, to you. But to me, it's Thursday, you know.
That's not bad. You could tell he's watched this over and over again.
So what were you really doing in house again?
Teaching Rocky ethics.
That was part of the syllabus.
Rocky's the man. Yeah. What about you?
Well, first of all, I can't top that. I mean, that was
really deep, man.
That was too deep. I think we should just end it now. I don't know. Fictional characters, yeah. More to do with the storyline of almost every superhero. Whether it's a demigod or whether it's somebody who was accidentally made into or given these superpowers. It's always that good versus evil. And that's how I saw it. And it's always, no matter what background, ethnicity, wherever the superhero came from, whether from Earth or from a different planet, he was always a source of goodness. He was always that, like take Captain America, right? Look at him. He always wants to do good. He wants to do the right thing. And he will not take no for an answer. And he has that very strong resolve. And I take that from him. You know, I was like, you know what, if it makes sense. I know he's a fictional character, what have you, but it makes sense. It's logic. Why can I not have a strong resolve? Believe in what I believe in. Don't give in. You know, don't flow with the tide. Or wherever the you know, I don't want to be sheep, basically. And yeah, so that's what I take from these movies, the whole good versus evil stuff, and I can obviously relate to what, especially when it comes to Muharram, I can see the Yazid evil, and I see Imam Hussein good, and that's also good versus evil. I mean, I'm not saying he's like the one,
of course,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, when I was a kid, I just wanted to fly, so I thought Superman was awesome, and that power that he had, I just wanted to fly like a bird and, you know, see from above. But then again, there's other superheroes that have the ability to read minds and ability to change your mind as well. And that's kind of dark at the same time. I know a superhero that I wouldn't want to follow. That's somebody like Deadpool. You know, he was accidentally given the powers that he had, or not accidentally. Yeah, accidentally in a way.
That's the kind of guy who represents being able to do whatever you want without any consequences.
Exactly. Now he's completely different from Captain America, who wants to do the right and he's righteous, but then he wants to take revenge. He's all for his woman. He doesn't care for creating havoc amongst the city and destruction and what have you. He doesn't take these things into account. He's not really a good person at heart.
For you, it's the morality of
the morality, exactly, the principles, the values, and that's what attracts me to this. And I don't mind taking from it, and I learn from it, and I have. And I just don't get how Batman beat Superman because
he's smart, obviously.
Yeah, he could be smart because Superman didn't read. He should have read a bit more. Batman read. He's like, kryptonite. Okay, you know, that's all I need really. That's all you really need against Superman. It's such like it's a given. But yeah, it's great to see that.
Let's find out
what you got
There's
first.
like 100 guys on my mind, but recently, because I was just watching the series and it came to an end, I would say Naruto. Now, just for anyone who doesn't know what Naruto
What's a
is
Naruto?
about, so basically,
No, I know it's something anime. My brother would love to have this conversation with you, but I just never really got into anime.
All right, so basically, anime in general is, as you can say, it's cartoons that are made in Japan. But what the story is that there's this whole ninja kind of like tribe and nation, and for years they've been going to war with each other, right? And there's different clans, right? Now, it got to a point where Naruto was part of this specific clan that's part of this village, and at one point they're attacked by one of these tailed monsters, and Naruto's parents, they make a sacrifice to put that monster, the beast, into Naruto from a baby. So when he grows up, he not only is he an orphan, but he's also an outcast from the society, because people always think of him as that kid who has that beast within him, and he does whatever he can to get people's attention, right? So for me, although life wasn't anywhere as hard as that, I didn't have a beast inside of me in that sense, but I always felt like insecurity within me, and I always wanted to be appreciated by others, and sometimes that meant falling into social pressures, right? And I wasn't appreciated as much as I wanted to be. Now, as I grew older, there was more self-awareness, so there was more confidence within myself, and I didn't have to worry about that. But one thing I really like about him as he grew older was that he had this mentality of never giving up. No matter what he went through, giving up was never, it was never an option for him, no matter what he went through. And even what's interesting is one of his friends, closest friends, actually ended up becoming his enemy. And throughout that, he went out of his way to make that friend close to him again. And it's that being a Muslim, being a Shia, and seeing the disunity in our community, that hurts. But when I see the lengths this guy goes to bring unity and to achieve the impossible, I think, you know what, this guy's a proper Husseini, man.
That makes a lot of sense, to be honest. There is a lot of disunity, and yeah, that character embodies unity and going all the way.
Unity,
to help
strength,
mankind.
kindness, compassion.
Yeah.
He represents self-awareness, and on top of that, he's a light-hearted character. So it's easy to approach. It's easier to approach him. It's easy to like him.
Yeah.
But ultimately, because he knows what he's doing and he aims so high, it really just reminds me of my relationship with Allah and the Imam.
Wow. Yeah, look, something from fiction. We took something from fiction and went so deep with it, and that makes total sense. All those traits that you were mentioning, I think that's what draws us to these characters, because a lot of these characters have to have that for us to relate to them, and us to fight for them and root for them as they're fighting the villains.
And it's crazy how much they can actually affect us if we open up to them. So like with Naruto, I also watched that series, but I was really affected by the character Itachi. So he basically sacrificed his life completely for his little brother.
Whoa.
But he made it out like he was an enemy the whole time.
Oh, wow.
So
That's a sacrifice.
So when he
That's a
died,
sacrifice that happened, yeah.
everyone hates him. But he was actually the guy who cared the most, so no one acknowledged his sacrifice. So he reminds me a lot of like the martyrs who no one knows their names.
Yeah.
Who even their parents don't know their graves. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows who those martyrs are. That character really inspired me to, first of all, to be sincere, in that not to look to what the people think of you, but to do what has to be done for the best of everyone. And at the same time, it really helped me, because I was young when I watched it, so I wanted to have a good relationship with my little brother. And right now, me and my little brother, we're best friends. And it was like I was really affected by that as a kid, so I think that has a lot to do with it.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
These are good stories. Who would have thought comic books would bring
good
out of
Well,
us?
I guess that just goes to show the people who are behind these things, they've experienced life.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think to myself, how cool is this person that you've written this, and you can come out with these stories that I'm not able to exactly extract from somewhere else. So it makes me think, who is this person? I'd like to get to know who they are and learn from them.
Yeah.
No, these writers, I don't know if I should use the word visionary, but they were able to understand what type of character they need to portray and show the audience.
And you think it's just a cartoon, but it's so deep. You learn life from it.
Yeah, and I think it's taken from real life examples. Perhaps I know, changed, tweaked here and there, but that's why we can relate to it so much and we take from it so much.
I mean, I can talk about this all night, but unfortunately we don't have time. It's been deep.